on the demolitions per se, because it was a whole lengthy speech. For that place that we played, the whole aspect that came out, but of course you had your own way of listening to it. But just for clarity, was he encouraged negotiations? Remember with the Mavoko land, for example, the Portland Cement put out a notice for land sale just around it, but not the exact disputed land. That also elicited reactions. Dialogue, perhaps, with those who are affected.
Correct.
Yes.
And that's the best way to go about it, dialogue. Right. But who are you having this dialogue with? And that was a general statement on the on these illegal encroachments across board, because all these cases we are seeing, some are happening on public land, some are happening on private land. So that was a general general statement. But then to say, because again, when you're talking about we are going to resettle, we are going to resell this land, and the government is looking to benefit from that. Was that the intention of the government in the first place? Why are we seeing this? Is it crafted to have the government obtain money from these citizens? That's a question we should ask ourselves.
All right, gentlemen, I want all of us to weigh into this particular matter. And I know Wakili has seemingly spoken for a really long time, but because a lot of people now are sorting legal address. If there are Kenyans who have said, really, honestly, I wasn't aware this was disputed, this is where I'm at now. Do they have any hope in the judiciary corridors? Is there something they can do? What do they need to show the government or the courts that they need some sort of compensation? Or should they just get over and done with it?
Thank you. One, we have a very comprehensive and all-inclusive constitution. It allows everybody to approach the courts on any issue. And so any of these people who are affected can approach the court. But the question is, do you have legitimacy? Do you have a case in court? Some of these people have, some don't have. And as I said, what is your defense in such situations? Do I have the documentation that can defend my acquisition of this land? Remember, I talked about Article 40 of the Constitution, talking about your right to property. But it is not an absolute right. It says the only exception to it is that you have to show that that land was lawfully acquired. So you can approach the court, but I would also urge people, because we are becoming extremely litigious, only do not clog the judicial system when you know actually you are a perpetrator.
Martha.
From where I sit, it's, in my opinion, it's going to be a little hard, even sitting down to negotiate. Because first of all, if you are going to negotiate with me, you must make certain submissions that the land in question is mine. That is why we are negotiating. Because you will not go to Kirema to negotiate, for instance, with Kirema, while we are saying you don't own this land. We have to, or rather to accept, first of all, the land is his, and he has the right to quote a price for it. You cannot dictate. If the land is mine or anything is mine, you cannot dictate to me what I need to do with what is legally mine. And I think there is a bit of difficulty there, but I believe also the government, in the end of the day, because we have a government and we need to hold the government responsible, way how things are being done matters, not just matters land, even in matters construction. We like quick fixes, and I believe it is time, otherwise we are going to find ourselves in the same issues all over again. That when it comes to such matters, all of us will look at the mirror and ask ourselves, who is responsible for this mess? If, for instance, we are going to sit down and say we are going to like what the president indicated, they are going to cut that piece of land and they are willing to regularize, which is okay. I believe we don't just to look at, take the hammer and hit. Everything is not a nail anyway. the processes of land acquisition, I believe professionals are here.
Yes.
I think we need to foreground to make that process easier to a layman person to understand. Because I believe also out there, if you mention our Kili or a surveyor, that sounds heavy and reachable to a common person, yet it is something that is next door. Sometimes it's about asking. I've just asked Eric here, how much does it go? He told me, come on, this one is just, you only need to ask, it is free. Some of those services, you might be surprised, are free. You only need to walk to government office and get the information that you want. If I want to certify that he is registered surveyor, it is free. I can do it from where I sit. But people would walk in and pronounce them, masquerade as surveyor, and we have seen those cases anyway. Somebody would walk in and masquerade as an advocate, and when that person drew an agreement, then there is a matter to be litigated. What happens? And I believe it is time we go a step further from the usual way of doing things.
Okay.
Otherwise, this is not going to be the last. Many more will be coming.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate case. I think in the case of the Mavoko, it was on public land. So with public land, it's difficult to negotiate. In the case of the Kerima land, we are talking about private land. And looking at the developments that are there and the investment that has gone in there, it may be necessary here to negotiate and regularize the acquisition of that particular land. But going forward, it is important that the members of the public understand certain things. Number one, do not invest in land where the owner does not have a title deed, and where you have not, where you cannot confirm the authenticity of ownership. It is wrong for you to try to invest in land with the hope that after you've invested and built that you will get a title deed in future. If the owner doesn't have a title deed, that should be a red flag. You should not go in there. The other issue is that...
I'm sorry to interject, but we will go with you step by step. I will give time for that.
Yeah.
Fine, the owner gives me a title deed. All right, probably wasn't educated. One of those people who work their way up, through business or vending or hawking, and now I have the money. How do I verify? Do I have to go to the lands registry? Do I have to scan something? How do I do that? Just very briefly.
Yeah. Just like Wakili did indicate that you need to work with the professionals to be able to verify that this title deed is actually genuine. Yes. So you'd have to do a search. He talked about the normal search. You can also be able to do the historical search so that you can be clear about the root of that particular title.
So there's need for patience.
Yes.
All right.
You do not invest in land in a hurry.
Okay.
It's not something that you want to buy land in 5 days and you have bought the land. That should ring some bells and give some warning signals.
All right.
Again, also look at the pricing. I mean, engage with a professional valuer to be able to look at that particular land. And if somebody is trying to sell you land at 500,000, but the market price is about 2 million, you should be conscious of the fact that maybe something is not quite correct, so that you need to keep off or try and verify, make certain verifications. But also what I want to say is that over time we have seen groups of people coming together and investing in land. For example, you get a 100-acre piece of land, you are 100 people, and you have the assurance that at the end of the day, each one of you will get 1 acre, right? But certain things haven't been done. It is a fact that at the end of the day, you will not end up with 1 acre. You will end up with a size of land that is less than that 1 acre. And that tends to bring in conflict. So it is important that when you are investing in land, that land has been mapped, it has been planned, it has been surveyed, so that the number of plots is clear, because 100 acre of land will reduce because we'll have to provide maybe 10%, we'll have to go into public utilities like roads and so on and so forth. So that instead of you getting 1 acre, you will get maybe 0.9 of an acre. So it's important that you understand that there are certain processes that need to be followed. And totally avoid these temporary certificates, occupation licenses, and so on and so forth. Insist on having that title deed so that you can have the confidence to be able to invest in the land.
Again, as you touched on that, because we're running out of time, are there any tax? I know there's the compliance you have touched on, but not in a layman's language. For the person watching, probably they're purchasing land tomorrow.
Yes.
Beginning the process, rather. I made it look like an event. It's a process. Are there any taxes or fee implications that buyers should be aware of when purchasing land? Is there any
the only
specific ones?
We have the issue about rates.
Okay.
We have the issue about rent. And before you invest in the land, you should ensure that you have the owner provides you with a clearance certificate. For example, that all the rates have been paid, all the rents have been paid, so that the land is free from any such kind of taxes. The other thing that you may need to pay, or you will have to pay, would be the stamp duty. So once the valuers have come in, valued the land, etc., and they will be able to assess whether the stamp duty that you need to pay is 2% of the sale value or 4% of the sale value, you will be advised. So there is that aspect of the stamp duty.
Very important. Yes, Wakili.
Just to clarify that these taxes are not paid to these professionals.
All right.
These taxes are payable to the government, depending if it's rates, they are payable to the county. If it's rent, then to the national government. It's obviously you're paying stamp duty. Obviously, that has to go to the government. And again, he said it's either 2% if it's agricultural land or land that is not within a municipality, and 4% within land that is within a town. Yes.
Wakili, before we close with you, in case you just want to bring us up to speed, are there any recent legal changes or updates, of course, that are related to land acquisition in Kenya, something Kenyans did not catch up with? Is there anything new in your fraternity?
Well, we have been talking about this taxes again, and who needs to pay what. In terms of the taxes that are payable. But in terms of, again, whether there are legal developments in the acquisition of land, we are increasingly seeing them as pronounced, for instance, by the courts, but nothing from Parliament as yet. But all we can say is that we need to be vigilant. In terms of let's avoid ignorance is no defense within the law.
Rightfully said, fair enough, but I speak for the person who is termed ignorant for now, or who needs to get this information, sensitization. And I appreciate when sometimes you come to give pro bono services as advocates, but you interact with these people and it's clear they cannot get this huge words. They cannot get this, but sometimes we have people standing for themselves in some cases to explain what happened to them in a language that can be heard in court. How far have we gone to the people on the ground? I mean, we cannot always put on Kenyans that they're ignorant.
That's true. We are trying. For instance, let me just applaud the Law Society of Kenya. The whole of this week is Service Week, where we are camping at major courts in Kenya. We are inviting members of the public to come for, counseling, legal counseling. It's on a free basis. It's on a pro bono basis. But information is out there. Again, the government is circulating, information every day through the websites and through the local establishments. So there is information out there. And what this says is that you have to get off your couch and you have to seek for this information because it won't come to you. Yes.
Real estate is booming right now. Everybody, perhaps even including some of us in here, are looking forward to something that they own because everyone wants to, have that shelter. What would be your closing remarks to anyone who is actually eyeing that business? Because that has become the heart of fraud now, for people to be duped in. Yes, because you want this kind of land, what do you want to build very fast, easy, rosy, and then finally we bring it down with the bulldozers.
I think real estate business is real.
It's real.
It's real. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is simply real. It is real, other than the few cases we have had. But I wanted to add something maybe before I respond to what you just indicated. There is something we normally advise. It is not a question of legality of the document that you have. I have seen people crying about the land they bought. Maybe you want to buy land, then I'll give you all the necessary document about the ownership of that land. But the land I sold to you is probably you wanted land to put up a house. You never ever visited. Everything else is correct, but you cannot put up a house there because you never visited. It is important to do a site visit. That's number one. It's nothing illegal. Yes, right. You got the right land, you got the right document, but the topography, I don't know whether that's the right word, it's wrong. Just visit land. Sometimes it is important to know when to buy. During the rain or after the rains is very, very important. Okay. In some places, people would want to refund you or rather sell to you lands during when it is dry. Roads are passable and everything looks okay. Wait until there's rain. That's right. Types of soil, it's impassable. Sometimes it's good to know some of these things. When you want to invest in land, try, if possible, during the rain season. If you can be able to assess your land during the rain season, whatever it is, that land is okay. Don't just depend on it when it is dry. Okay? Then, matters related, I think this is one of the businesses I would say, let's meet there. It is great business. As you're saying, the reason why I would want everybody is to buy land, it is because nobody is making it anywhere. It's not being manufactured by anybody anywhere. So that means it's become more scarce, more valuable, unless in a place where there is war. You can be sure the value of land will always appreciate. True. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Come. You find us, and I believe, as indicated, I think the Kenyans, we need to start here. Let us knock the doors of the professional people. We are likely to save ourselves a lot. If I work with the surveyor on this other side, I want to work with the advocate, but this behavior that you are, for instance, this is what I also seen in construction sites. Gates are permanently locked because you do not want anybody to get in there because you don't have any approval. There are no approvals. You are buying an apartment. You don't want to walk in there with an engineer, a structural engineer anyway. What if you buy that house and that house come tumbling down tomorrow? Which one is easier, to pay the engineer, or you just walk in there and believe that everything is okay, then that house tomorrow is marked for demolition? We have seen these things happening every other time. As we close, it is critical. We consult the surveyors. I think we can sit pretty.
Just like having a child, if you want to consider it as something you want to discuss with your partner, opening up a business, choosing a marriage partner and actually saying I do, or giving your life to Christ for the Christians, or changing your lifestyle. You put thought into these things, which are critical choices in life. I believe that's the same kind of approach you need to give to owning a land. Like they say, it's a process, not an event. Eric Nyadimo, President, Institution of Surveyors of Kenya, thank you very much for creating time to be here. At the center has been Mwatha Njoroge, who is the CEO Olive Limited. Thank you very much for your sentiments.
It's my pleasure.
And Wakili, that is Charles Mugane, who is an advocate, I believe, of the High Court of Kenya.
Of the High Court of Kenya.
And practicing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for creating time.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I knew a very industrious young man in my life until recently on Monday when he left us to be with the Lord. Okay. The producer of this show, who would always tell me, Anki, well, I'm going back home because I need to go farm. I need to quickly, need to, go and plow. And he had visits and he had dreams, especially in building. And I believe he did a good job, a great father, a dad to an amazing daughter, a husband. He was a great son to his family and a great team member to all of us here. And he also loved you, the guests. That is the late Jeff Dennis Hayamba. Thank you very much for your tributes. I want to close this show by once again honoring him. Fridays were our favorites. We would dance and we would laugh and we would say, well, it's been a long week. We've done a good job until Monday. Rest in peace, my friend. Rest in peace, Mr. Producer. And my name is Anki Dorison, but we'll keep tabs with you on the burial arrangements, when, how, join the groups. Remember to stand with the family. There are different groups, etc. But this is not the platform for me to delve deeper into that. But on behalf of my team, we will miss you dearly, and I know that your spirit will live on. Allow me to close this show with a very beautiful song by Amos and Josh, Tutaonana Baadaye, and I hope that his soul rests in peace. Thank you for watching the show.
Thank you.
Mi bila fahamu kuwa ni yako zamu, angalau ungeniambia eti unakam, nitulize hamu wangu wa dhati. Hey, tama zangu zimenikwamia mikononi, labda huu ni mwisho wa dunia. Safiri salama, msalimu Maulana, tutaonana baadaye. Safiri salama, msalimu Maulana, tutaonana baadaye. Ndio, tutaonana baadaye, mpendwa, ndio. Tutaonana baadaye. Nakam, penda tabasamu. Tutaonana baadaye. Nakam, penda tabasamu. Tutaonana baadaye.
Wow. Okay. Natamani kujua what your plot is. Ata landlord upeana notice. Akimaulana ingilia kati. This ni expensive but worth it. Kwa nini uliamua kutangolea? Diet yangu imechange, tabia kulea, usingizi na kutamani, kushoto kulia, unakuja lini? Nitabasamu tena, unanitenda. Aliyekuchukua sijui nani alimtuma. Maombi ni ati wakati rudi nyuma. Jioni nikirudi nikupate kwa nyumba. Jiji zimeshikana ni ngumu kuvunja, but kauna raka
na hadithi mpya. Sahil, hivi haudhani kwamba kutokana na umri wangu nitakuwa nayazuia matakwa yako?
Kweli?
Lakini unajua nini? Watu huzuia matakwa yangu kutokana na umri wangu.
Hakuna watu hapa.